Keith Murray's wild stories gets a clap back from Foxy Brown, who calls him a crackhead. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, man, I've been watching Keith Murray on the Art of Dialogue channel on YouTube. And Keith Murray has been wilding, bro. I'm sitting there watching this stuff like you can't look away. It's insane, right? Without getting my video demonetized, I'm going to try to describe as best as possible what Keith Murray has been saying on this channel. First, before I tell you the response from Shawnna and the response from Foxy Brown, right? But Keith Murray has been all in his bag about these past sexual innuendos and situations that he went through when back in the 90s when he was the man. I mean, you all know Keith Murray, the most beautifulest thing in this world. Like, Keith Murray is from that rah-rah era. Keith Murray used to give rah-rah. He's Def Squad, EPMD, Eric Sermon, Red Man. Keith Murray was that guy for a minute, for a moment in time. How they say in the movies, for a time it was good, right? I even did at least 2 shows with Keith Murray as a promoter of events. And I got a video on my other channel. I'm going to put the link down below, where Keith just had a whole night of nuts adventures where it ended up, Keith Murray ended up knocking the whole ceiling down of this venue that I was promoting. But that's a whole nother story. I'll tell you, it's in the video. So Keith Murray been wild. This is not a new thing. Keith Murray had beef with Mobb D. The rumor is he had beef with Tupac. Keith Murray had a whole lot of stuff going on. And we've always known that Keith Murray is wild. He has a lot of stuff going on as far as stories. But for some reason, we haven't heard from Keith Murray in a while. I remember at one point, Keith Murray didn't even have social media. Like, I think when I did the shows with him, he didn't even have a page. I was like, how are you a rapper without a page? But for some reason, he's back out of nowhere. And the Art of Dialogue interviewed him. And I don't know if this is true, but Saigon, the rapper, said Keith Murray told him, I'm going to upset some people because people are dumb. I'm just going to go in there and make up some stuff, quote unquote. I'm not going to say quote unquote. But Saigon said people are stupid is what Keith Murray said, so watch what I do. So he goes on Art of Dialogue. And he tells these wild tales. One of the first tales was about Foxy Brown, saying that, again, I can't really say nothing too graphic because I don't want my channel to get demonetized. But that she gave him oral, right? And he returned the favor on her, right? And they didn't do any intercourse, but what they did do was, as they finished wrapping up what they were doing and went downstairs, her boyfriend at the time was Corrupt from the Dog Pound, who is pretty thorough, right? Corrupt, we know who Corrupt is. Corrupt is one of them, the DPGs, the gangsters, right? And Keith Murray claims that, he's like, that's Corrupt. What you gonna do? She's like, no, that's all good. That she's walking him over to Corrupt. And he's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to start some East Coast, West Coast with me and Corrupt. Like, you're trying to set me up. So he said he dipped off real quick and Corrupt never saw him. He said he basically accused Foxy of trying to pit him against his own peer, right? He basically saying, you gave me some crazy top piece, right? And then when it was over, you try to be on some hood stuff and get me to fight your man. That's the first thing he said about Foxy. Then he went to the next video, Shawnna from Ludacris camp. He tells a story that Shawnna, he giving her oral. All right, these are 2 separate stories of 2 different famous rappers that he's telling us that he gave all this oral to, right? And that story goes on, gets a little more graphic. It's all hilarious. Like, if you watch it, if to anybody that's not being talked about, if I'm not Foxy or Shawnna, it's hilarious, right? I couldn't look away, but Shawnna wasn't too pleased with it. She didn't find it funny, and she had something to say as well. But then Keith Murray goes on to say He was about to sleep with, I think her name is Lily of SWV. I don't know. I think it's Layla or Lily or something like that. And he was with a artist, a singer named Bun, who's a multi-platinum R&B singer. I think Bun, I was told that Bun, because Keith Murray didn't explain who Bun is, but I think they told me that Bun is from the group, not Blackstreet. Damn, Chop just told me the name of this guy, the group that Bun is in. If you know who Bun is in, what group he's in. It's a male R&B singing group, and the singer name is Bun. Long story short, him and Bun both had on Timbs, and him and Bun sat down on this girl's bed from SWV, and when Bun took his Timbs off, he had crusty socks. So she was like, your man gotta go, right? So Bun messed it up with him and this girl from SWV. So I'm like, these stories are out of nowhere, and it's like crazy. Then he starts talking about why he didn't have real beef with Tupac, how it was a whole story about how Tupac man came up because he thought that Keith Murray had dissed him on I Shot Ya. His verse on I Shot Ya, it was a line in there, and he thought that it was about him. So he said that that's what started his problem with Tupac, was that he thought that Murray took a shot at him. So it's a bunch of old stories, and we'd love to hear these old stories because these are our idols. So we'd love to hear these old stories about what went on back in these days because these are iconic times. These are iconic tales. But I do not think that telling us that you had oral with Foxy Brown 25 years later is an iconic tale that we need to hear, right? But I listened to it, and I thought it was semi funny just the way he was describing it. He's a very animated person. But the OGs really shouldn't be telling a story like this for no reason. We got on Irv Gotti when he did it, right? When Irv Gotti went on and on about Ashanti, what did we say? It was lame, right? So Foxy Brown responded. It took her about, I don't know if she just heard it because I think Keith, that video came out no less than a week and a half. That video's probably been out. But Foxy's just now responding, right? And she goes on her Instagram, crackhead ass Mary, crying emoji face, wanna die for a lie. And then she puts some laughing faces. Then she go, boy effed up adding my name to that fairy tale with more laughing emojis. Then she goes on, now somebody tell dope fiend ass Keith Murray we want to book him for a walkthrough. 1,500 and a bag of jumps. That's hilarious. So she's just making fun of the situation. She don't sound too like upset. I want to fight. She's making fun of it. She's laughing about it. But let's be honest, she didn't deny it, right? So she didn't deny it. She just called him a crackhead, and she said it's a fairy tale. Oh no, she did say. She said he want to die for a lie, right? So I guess that is denying. Apparently. Either way, let's say he told Saigon, I'm going to be trending tomorrow. He said, I'm going to be trending when these things drop. And he was. He definitely was trending. He said, people so stupid, I'm going to be trending. Now, I have to be honest. I do this with when the younger artists do something crazy, and the older anybody that does something crazy, I have to call it out. Again, Keith Murray's my man, 50 grand, and I'll work with him again in the future, right? But the simple fact of the matter is, this is not OG behavior to, let's say these are true stories. To tell these stories is not OG, but imagine if these are lies that he's doing just so he can go viral. Just imagine that. Like, where does that place you in hip-hop? You're lying on these girls' head game. You're saying that they did this and that to you, and you did this and that to them, right? But it's all a fairy tale. That looks worse than if these stories are real, right? You're lying on your sex game. It makes no sense to me to be able to say a woman did this or you did this and that to a woman, right? And it never happened, no matter how long ago or how funny it is. I think it's kind of crazy, right? Again, I rock with Keith Murray, and I'm not offended. This didn't offend me. It made me chuckle, and it was kind of funny, but when you peel back the layers, I don't think that these women deserve this. Now, Foxy's taking it light. Shawnna's taking it light. These are two of the most, I want to say, aggressive or like hard women in the business. So they're not going to get on here with a face full of tears. They're not gonna be talking about I'm gonna sue you, this and that. You know what I'm saying? But imagine they wasn't, and they shouldn't have to be that just to have their business put out there, whether it's true or false, right? You shouldn't have to be this hard ass chick. What if they was mad, like scary and timid, and he said all this? It would be a different. We would look at it different. So I'm going to say, man, Keith Murray, man, OG behavior don't look like this, bro. And we got to teach these kids better than this. We got to teach these kids better than this. So salute to Foxy for just laughing it off, and salute to Shawnna for laughing it off. I don't know the girl Lily or whatever her name is from SWV. I don't know if she's even going to respond. She's probably like a classy person right now that don't even really get into a bunch of nonsense. So she probably won't even respond to it. But Keith, man, listen, chill out, man. Chill out, man. Like, this funny and all that, and you made a lot of noise. You did go viral, but let's do it for the right reasons, man. Put some music out. He said he wanted to sign back to Diddy. He told another funny story, too, about how Diddy, how Suge Knight wound it up from all the way behind his back and slapped the whole mess out of Diddy, which was a whole nother story, man. That channel is wild. Go watch the Art of Dialogue, man. CLBMG.com. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
CLB.